Hi, and welcome to another tarot card reading with me. My name is the Stars Tarot, and I felt like, doing a reading. And for this particular reading, if you have your own set of tarot cards, maybe it's nice to pull the cards with me. So I wanted to do a reading on the super full moon tomorrow. So today is the 3rd of December as I'm doing this reading. So tomorrow, the 4th of December, it will be a super full moon. And I believe it's actually called the cold moon, and it will be the last full moon of the year 2025. So as you may know, like the full moon is always kind of like a heightened energy in the sense of what we can leave behind and what should be embraced as something new. And because it's the last month of the year 2025, maybe it's a nice way to do this reading with the angle of what should we shed, what should we let go of, what do we no longer need to take with us as we go into the new year, and what should we embrace, what newness is awaiting for us as the collective in 2026. So let's just pull some cards on that question, and let's see what the cards can tell us about this. So the first question is, what should we let go of? What is no longer in alignment with us? What should we leave behind in 2025? I'm not going to do reversals for this reading. I just want to read them upright. And I will just intuitively feel if the cards are more leaning towards a reversed kind of meaning for the card. So what is no longer serving us in 2025? Okay, some interesting cards here already. Let's pull one more. All right, okay. Let's have a look at these cards. We'll just do the first interpretation for these three cards, and then we can go and have a look at what we should embrace as something new coming onto our paths for 2026. So first of all, we have the Queen of Wands. And normally in its upright version, the Queen is like the epitome of like confidence. Like she's such a creative, confident, charismatic lady. That she basically, when she walks into a room, everyone is looking at her, like she draws in all the attention and she is fine with being in the limelight. So I think what this card is trying to tell us, for in the sense of what we should be leaving behind in 2025, is the feeling of diminishing ourselves. The feeling of not being worthy enough, or hiding ourselves because we are afraid of being seen by other people. And instead we should start embrace the confidence that this Queen of Wands is exuding. So no longer staying small. We should leave behind that we doubt ourselves. We should leave behind in 2025 that we are not courageous enough, or not bold enough, or not creative enough. Basically everything that is diminishing our personalities, parts of ourselves that are basically screaming at us like we want to be released, because we can do this and we do have the qualities that embody the Queen of Wands, such as the creativity, the courageousness, the boldness, fierce confidence, and being an adventurous. She's not afraid to take steps in kind of like an out of the box situation. So moving forward with confidence is going to be a key here. Embracing this new version of you that is tired and done with not feeling like you're enough. You are enough, and you can do everything that you set your mind to. I think one of the parts with believing in yourself is starting also with the conviction that you are smart enough and that you are creative and that you can do something, instead of, maybe out of a false sense of protecting yourself, trying to make yourself smaller than you really are. So that is one part that the cards are giving us as a message. And then we have the devil. Well, I think this is, in terms of what we should leave behind in 2025, I think this is a very clear card, because the devil speaks about, well, in one sense, about addictions. So that can be substance abuses, but it can also be addictions to watching too much, television, to have too much screen time. But it can also be about thinking patterns or behavioral patterns that are just not healthy for us. It can be a signal that there's some type of obsessiveness going on. And most of all, how you can see it in the illustration here is, you see the figure that's represented as the devil, and then in the bottom right corner, you see this kind of like figure going with their head down, and their strings attached, which is really meaning that any situation where you are not in control should be released. You should reclaim your own power. You should reclaim your agency. And in a way, that is a kind of continuation of the first message here, where, stepping into this feeling of courageousness and boldness and adventure, and not keeping yourself small anymore. That is also signaled here. There's this figure here is obviously feeling like there's no real power. There's no self-power, self-control. Someone else is leading that by having these strings here and by pulling the strings in, making this figure do something that they want. So it's about cutting those cords of unhealthy mannerisms, lifestyle choices, behaviorisms that are just really not in your best interest. So putting yourself first, putting your sort of well-being at first, making sure that you are not attached anymore to people that don't wish the best for you. So I think in a sense we can also pull this into a larger context, and maybe some cord cutting is needed with people that are just no longer part of your energetic group that you want to be in with. So maybe you just outgrown some people, and it's time to cut those cords. It's time to start leaving things behind that are just not healthy for you anymore. So whatever that may be, think about what that could mean for you. Like, what is really not for your benefit? What is something that you've outgrown or something that is unhealthy for you? Think about that and make a conscious decision about leaving that in 2025, and do not take that with you in 2026, because you deserve better. That's what we've already seen here with the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is just, you can just see how much fire is coming off of this card, and how much light with the candles here. There's so much wisdom here, and it's time to embrace, that side of yourself that is not afraid to be seen. And one of the ways to do that is, of course, by cutting cords that are unhealthy. And then as the last card, we get the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles is a card of sort of like extreme security, comfort, feeling like you're in the safest place of the world. And it can also be a card about entrepreneurship. So often this card comes up if someone has their own business. And to me, this card also signifies loyalty because of the dog that's depicted next to the man. But you can see how the illustration in this card is sort of like exuding this warmth and safety net that's sort of like captures the energy of this card. And of course, because it's a Pentacles card, it can also be related to finances, monetary values. But Pentacles are really about sort of the practical earthly things in our lives. So if we consider this card to be more of a financial type of meaning, then we could maybe think about the fact that we should leave any sort of sense of not having enough in terms of finances, or holding yourself back in an investment, or holding yourself back in starting up this business that you may have been projecting into your future for a while now, and you just haven't gotten around it, but you want to set this up. Then I think it's again time to give that a go, because really, like, this new year is going to be a year of movement, because I think in Chinese astrology it's going to be the year of the horse, and horses are about movement and going forward, and there's the procrastination is basically over. So seeking comfort and safety and stability and loyalty is something that can come with the idea of feeling fulfilled and feeling like you can cut away the things that are no longer serving you. So to me, it's these two cards are quite similar in a sense, like they both are calling for aspects of our lives that are going to enrich our lives. Enrichment, whether that is finances or not. I mean, this card speaks a bit more about monetary values than the wands, but it's see how kind of almost the same the colorings are in this card. This is a bit more red and gold, and this is a bit more pink purplish with red also a little bit, but it's kind of like having the same sort of energy, and the energy here is of people who are extremely comfortable in their own skin. You can see how happy they are and how they kind of like seated in the position where they feel strong, even though they're sitting down, but they feel extremely strong and taken care of, really. And not because other people are taking care of themselves, but because they are shining that energy outwards. So I believe that this is sort of the overall message here, that we should leave any doubt that we have about who we are and what we can do. We should leave that behind by cutting the cords of negativity. So having healthy choices for yourself, stepping forward into the energy of movement, building something for yourself, whether that's your own business or a creative project, or just working on your sense of, your sense of self in terms of having a healthy, how do you say that? Like having a healthy idea of yourself, like your own self-esteem, for example. Maybe that needs a bit of a push in the right direction. But every ounce of doubt that you have about this is something that should stay in 2025. We are not taking that with us. And the devil is really signifying that. It's signifying all the negativity and all the diminished doubts, insecurities that we may feel about ourselves. We can give that to the devil and put that into the past. So I think that's a sounds like a quite on point message here from the cards. Let me take a sip of tea, and then let's have a look at 2026. Okay, what should we embrace for 2026? Oh, wow. Okay. Death and rebirth. Okay. Again, like this message of leaving something, a chapter that needs closing. Let's leave that behind and let's rebirth a new chapter of our lives. Okay, the Four of Cups. Okay. All right, let's have a look at these cards. So, what should we embrace for 2026? Well, this card you can take really quite literally because it's called the Death and Rebirth card. So, like I said, December is going to be the closing chapter of the year, quite literally. And then 2026 is going to be the rebirth, not only the rebirth of your life, but I also think the rebirth of your new self. Like maybe it's this month is a good, month to kind of set your intentions on how you want to grow as a person. Like what qualities do you want to highlight or what do you want to work on as you go into 2026? But it's time to start embracing who you truly are. It's time to embrace your authenticity. And I know normally the death card can seem, a little bit scary for people when they get it in a tarot reading. But what the death really indicates in the tarot is that there is a closing of a phase. And it's always followed by something new, because even here in the face of death, you can see how there's a new light beaming here, and it's a strong light. It's a rising light that's coming up. So that indicates the rebirth of something. And sometimes we need to release like an old energy in order to be able to embrace a new kind of energy. So whatever is going on for you personally, this is going to be a huge transformation for yourself. And like I said, that can be on an individual, personal level, but it can also be more in a contextual level for yourself in your circumstances, in terms of relationships or career, or health. But there's some type of transformation that will take place that is going to lead to your rebirth. So this is really a new chapter that we are looking at. Okay, let's look at the second card. That is the Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups is, a card that, to me, if I pull this card, it always seems like a card of apathy, like having feelings, because it's a cups card, or emotions that feel quite stagnant. But I think what we need to zoom in on this card here is that there is a hand here with a cup and it's reaching out. But this figure here is kind of not too fussed, not too bothered to maybe take this cup. She's a bit like, yeah, it's great that it's there, but I don't know if I want it. And I feel that it's signaling to us that we should not miss certain opportunities. So I guess in 2026, there might be occasions where someone is handing you something. It could be, like I said before, it could be something like a project or an investment or some type of chance to have a feeling of more emotional fulfillment. And you should recognize that opportunity. Don't, go into this feeling of apathy and stagnation and not wanting to kind of like step out of your comfort zone, but recognize that opportunities can also mean a new, kind of like a new investment of energy, which we all sometimes need, especially if you're feeling quite stagnant. Like you sometimes need this fuse where you feel like you can be motivated again. And I think that that's what is meant here. Like we really should recognize an opportunity when it's handed to us and not just brush it away because it's, not convenient or the timing isn't right or we just don't feel like it. No, like maybe an opportunity that is being given to you is actually going to lead to something greater. So take that in the back of your mind if something like that pops up. And then the Ten of Wands, which is a little bit of a difficult card in the terms of the question that we are asking, because the question is, what should we embrace going into 2026? And the Ten of Wands is normally a card of feeling overwhelmed, having too many responsibilities, and really struggling to, keep all the balls in the air and feel like you can give equal energy and attention to all of the things that you're trying to do. Now, in this card, I do like the imagery a lot because it's, you can see there's like a path that is going upwards to the mountain, but either this figure is coming down from the mountain with this, with this baggage here, or she's deciding not to go up this mountain. So she's kind of like choosing an easier road for herself. And if that's the case, then I think that could be quite a nice symbolism in the fact that we may feel overburdened sometimes. But if that's the case, we can still be sharp enough to kind of choose a way for ourselves that doesn't make us feel like we're being overwhelmed or we have too many things to do, by perhaps delegating some tasks to other people, or be honest to people and say like, listen, I would like to do it all, but I can't. I would love it if you could help me with this, or if you can just understand that it's maybe too much right now. But maybe there's a way for us to communicate to other people and to communicate to ourselves honestly, that sometimes we can't do it all, and there's no shame in trying to find a way in, trying to get help from other people or advice. And even if that's not possible, maybe there's a way for ourselves to lighten the load, quite literally. Like, do not take all the baggage in one go, because sometimes that's just not realistic, and that's maybe the message that this card is giving us. And I just quickly want to check what the book is saying about this, because to me, like, I know tarot readers always have like some cards that they struggle with personally, and the Ten of Wands can be that card for me sometimes. So let's just see what the book says. So yeah, if we look at it from the shadow side, so that means the card in the reverse meaning that there is usually a block in that type of energy. It says divided attentions, clinging to responsibilities, difficulty asking for help, letting go of someone else's expectations of you, and need to stand up for yourself. Yeah, I think that kind of goes in line with what I was saying about trying to maybe delegate some tasks to other people, or make a list of priorities, like what do you really need to pay attention to right away and what can wait, and not avoiding to ask for help from other people. I think sometimes we can, myself included, sometimes, I have too much pride to ask for help because I feel like I should be able to do it all. But sometimes that's just not realistic. And if the end result is that you are going to struggle with your own energy at the end of the day, then yeah, is it really worth it? So those are some of the considerations for embracing this new energy coming into 2026, rebirthing yourself. Making sure that you do not miss opportunities based on this feeling of apathy and unmotivatedness, and making sure that you make the burden, the load that you feel, lighter for yourself, that you can carry it more easily. This seems to be like quite practical advice from the cards, and I just wanted to get the Angel Answer Oracle card deck to see if we can get some additional messages for 2026. And let's just ask what surprises are waiting for us in 2026. Whoops, this one is falling out. You're ready. Okay. So this means that whatever is making you feel doubtful, or confused about something that you would like to do, but you feel like you're not up for it yet, you're ready to do it now. And maybe that goes back to that message of the King of Pentacles, where I was talking a little bit about entrepreneurship. Maybe some of you have a business in mind that you want to set up, but you haven't carried it through yet, or a project. And here it says you are ready to do it now. You will be able to pull this off. So have a little faith, have some confidence in yourself. You can do it. Okay, let's see what else. What surprises? What great surprises, what lovely surprises can we expect in 2026? Success. Okay, wonderful. So an infusion of success coming our way. Yes, okay, wonderful. So this all seems like, confirmation cards about you're ready to do it. Don't doubt. Whatever you have in mind that you want to achieve in 2026, it will be a success and you can do it. It says, yeah, it just says this is guaranteed a wonderful outcome because it's up to you and you have all the qualities and all the tools that you need to pull this off. Yep. This one meditation brings answers. Okay, meditation can be quite valuable if you're feeling like you need some clarity. The situation will improve. Okay, so these cards are quite literally, they don't need any long explanation. It just really, the card says it all. So if it's been rough lately, if you feel like you've been yeah, if you've just feel like you've had a big load of responsibilities that you have been, not feeling not so up for the task of handling that well, then the situation will improve, and that goes on a very large scale of things. So these cards look great, and I hope that this reading has brought you some clarity and some peace of mind of what we can look forward to in 2026. And if you would like to book a reading with me, then I would be honored to assist with that. Have a look at my website, and see you next time.